Key-tip gadgeries. So, if you're new here, key-tip means hello. I have a made-up language and I say it or speak it for fun. And the conversation I plan on having is about YouTube and the whole ID system that's going on.
It appears I did an oopsie lady. My character's colors are off because of green screen, if you're confused about that. And also, it appears you can kind of hear me playing Minecraft in the background if you hear blocks breaking. Yeah, sorry, I messed with audio. My bad. Back to the topic.
All I have to say is that I can see this ending poorly. First off, the suspicious thing is why do you need IDs in order to determine our age? You should be able to do like a little checkbox and be like, yep, I am an adult. But nope, they don't want to do that. They just want you to do like, give us your credit card information just to solve the problem. And I'm just sitting there like, that's suspicious. They've been saying that it's for the children. It is definitely not for the children, and many people are screaming censorship. And I can definitely see that, because there's so many people already being censorshipped. If you are a subscriber of Dark Humor, I do apologize if I'm getting that wrong. They are being censored as we speak about, like, calling out YouTube for the fact that this whole AI, or not AI, I was gonna have another conversation about AI, but overall, like, it's not going to work, because why do you need IDs? The whole ID system is flawed at most. Or no, not at most, it is flawed. It's completely flawed. Like, how does it help by giving us our personal information? It doesn't help. And YouTube is just refusing to do their job. I've seen, like, you know, again, Dark Humor's whole video about the whole thing and how YouTube has some really nice, reassuring responses. Totally just an AI bot just responding to outcry of people saying, this isn't gonna fix shit. And I can tell, it's definitely not gonna fix anything. Overall, with the whole YouTube thing and in general, the best way to actually solve the whole YouTube problem in general is that parents need to stop blaming the internet entirely. Because it's not always the internet's fault for why their kid is discovering stuff. Most of the time, it's because parents aren't sitting down and actually paying attention to what their kid is seeing. Because kids are out there on the internet discovering stuff. And take it from me, I was raised by the internet. I was one of those kids that was just like, she'll entertain herself with the whole being left alone 24/7 with a computer and being exposed to stuff that I shouldn't have been seeing, that my parents should have sat me down, explained why you need to avoid certain stuff. But no, they did not do that at all. I mean, for them, obviously, they don't have the whole experience with, like, the internet, because before, with them, they had, like, those old Chunko computers and such. The internet wasn't the way how it is now. Nowadays, parents need to be more careful with the internet, because a lot of people have been talking about this. Those who play on VR chat have been talking about this, because they have children joining public worlds and seeing stuff that they're not supposed to be seeing, but yet parents don't see the problem. Pretty much the best way in order to solve the problem is, again, the whole checkbox thing that I mentioned earlier, but also, this isn't really a concern YouTube should be making, but obviously, this whole thing is not for the children's well-being. They already had the whole COPPA Act already put in place about, like, okay, you need to specify whether or not your channel is for kids or not, or your videos for kids or not, which, okay, whatever. Annoying, but whatever. We put up with it, it works fine. They're pretty much trying to slap a band-aid on a dam that has a massive hole in it. And they're just slapping the band-aid on a crack and not actually focusing on the whole picture, pretty much. First off, why do you need my driver's license? Why do you need my social security number? Why do you need my credit card? Why any of that? I'm also more uncomfortable with, like, the whole, selfie thing? Because, as you can see, I'm a faceless content creator. I use a VTuber model. I also have a mask if I ever record myself, you know, face-to-face, I guess, in quotation marks, or IRL, I guess I should say. Overall, YouTube is not solving the problem, And this is just going to result in so many more people saying or calling them out. Will I still be here? Maybe, but mostly out of intrigue. Will I be uploading content on my YouTube channel? Maybe, but I'm definitely throwing out the whole getting monetized thing out the window, because I know I'm going to be censored out the wazoo because of speaking my mind. Do I plan on endangering children? No. Do I believe that this whole act will endanger children? Yes. Because children, if they are censored, they will start looking for ways to see stuff they're not supposed to see. Like, again, like the whole parenting thing. You cannot prevent your kid from seeing shit they're not supposed to see, because I used to be curious. I was that curious kid, and I used to see stuff I wasn't supposed to see because I was looking, and because certain websites had filters on them. That is not the website's fault for having filters of preventing children from seeing explicit content or certain content they shouldn't be looking at. That is on the parents for not sitting their kid down and telling them they shouldn't be looking at that.
Just to clarify about what I mean by filters, I'm more so talking about the YouTube's normal algorithm, and oftentimes children will watch whatever they see that piques their interest, such as looking at thumbnails. And most of the time, it's not on the website's fault for what children are watching, it's more so on the parents not paying attention to what their child is watching, and oftentimes children will watch stuff that they're not supposed to, like, for example, adults swearing in their own videos, but that's because their content's not meant for kids.
And they also, just be parents. It's not the website's fault, and it's not a corporation's fault that they need to come out of their way in order to do this in the first place, because it fixes nothing. It causes more problems. I am uncomfortable because I don't want to give my information out. It is personal. It is mine. Why do you need all this? Again, I am a faceless content creator, and I like to remain anonymous because I like to stay safe. I am a woman. In this day and age, being a woman is not safe. And I am afraid, and knowing the fact that YouTube is apparently partnering with this, corporation, group, or so on, their system has been hacked numerous times, and other users' data has been exposed. So knowing that there is definitely a way for our important information to just be sold, or not just sold, but just thrown out there, makes me feel less safe. If I get tagged as a child, I don't give a fuck at this point. YouTube's not doing their job, and it's definitely not their job to parent a child. There is easier ways of solving the problem. And the problem is that they need to get rid of the whole porn bots that have been sending links. Look into the content farms. I'm talking about content farms. They need to look into that in order to fix it. They have their own app. It's called YouTube Kids. Obviously, YouTube in general is the most common website. But for parents, they're going to be using the kids version because, it's for kids. Nope! There are channels out there showing children stuff they shouldn't be seeing, like fetish content, exposing them to fetishes like pregnancy fetishes, inflation, and so on and so forth, and also exposing them to, normalizing child abuse in general, murder, affairs, etc., etc. It is stuff that I was exposed to when I was a child, mostly not because it was YouTube's fault, well, kind of at fault, but it just showed the cracks in the whole thing that they really need to crack down on certain channels that are uploading stuff that they shouldn't be uploading. But overall, they should be able to just see the problem and solve the problem by getting actual people. They rely too much on AI and trying to be like, our AI systems are flawless and they can solve anything. Really now? Why are we able to, report an account for nudity and they can get that account flagged when there's no evidence? There's clearly flaws, yet they don't want to acknowledge that. And that is overall the problem. It won't help children be safe. It will make them more exposed or more prone to looking at or trying to find ways around the whole censorship thing. But not only that, you are just punishing people for the sake of punishing people. Content creators are not your babysitters. They do not need to worry about children's or shouldn't be worrying about children. Because if their content is not meant for children at all, that is the biggest understanding. So overall, going forward with my own channel, I plan on moving to Twitch, at least when it comes to the whole streaming thing. Am I popular there? No, I'm not. And I was hoping to, like, stream on here more, maybe get a bit more of an outreach, but I guess I'm jumping to, like, Twitch. Will I still be here on YouTube? Mostly just to see what happens. If YouTube finally wisens up and changes the whole ID thing and realize, oh, this is a bad idea, maybe I'll stick around more permanently. Will I look for alternatives? Maybe. I don't know. Overall, this whole thing is a dumpster fire, and it is not solving anything, and making people more wary about being more prone to be under threat. If you have your own opinions, you are allowed to talk about them. I understand that I'm not 100% in the right. I'm just simply speaking my own mind. And I am just doing what I think will work best for me. Understand I am not accurate in my information. You can correct me. But going forward, I'm just doing what works for me. And I suggest you do your own research. That is all I have to really say. Hope you guys take care of yourselves, drink water, eat food, and get sleep. Night Fox out.
I just realized I said Night Fox and not Keenum. My bad. I haven't said Night Fox for a number of years.